Restriction enzymes functioning. Let us see. Now, last time we saw E. coli, E. core 1 and Hind 2. They were the examples of the endonucleases, that is restriction endonucleases. Actually, restriction enzymes belong to a larger group of enzymes known as nucleases. These larger group of enzymes, that is nucleases, they are of two varieties: exonucleases and endonucleases. What is exonuclease? Exonuclease is something that cuts at the ends of the DNA. You take, this is a DNA segment, okay. Now it will be cutting the DNA at its ends. You saw these are the ends of the DNA. So cutting at the ends of the DNA, that is exonucleases. They will cut at the ends of the DNA. Endonucleases will be cutting the DNA sequence, that is the two strands of DNA within the DNA, not at the ends, within the DNA. So it is an endonucleases. So restriction enzymes are usually endonucleases. Coming to the how it is functioning, the restriction enzymes. See, there will be a specific nucleotide sequence that should be present. Only when that specific nucleotide sequence is present, then only the restriction enzyme will identify that and cut it. That specific sequence will be known as recognition sequence. Okay, recognition sequence. And this recognition sequence, that is a particular base sequence, nucleotide base sequence. And that is there only, then only it will cut. Okay, so usually the recognition sequence is a palindrome. It's a palindrome. Okay, what is a palindrome? It's a palindromic nucleotide sequence. The nucleotides will be as a palindrome, they will be arranged. What is a palindrome? Palindrome means when you read it from this direction also it will be same. So you will see Malayalam. And when you read it on the opposite direction also it will be same, Malayalam. So that is a palindrome. The nucleotide sequences should be a palindrome. Then only the restriction enzymes will recognize such a sequence known as a recognition sequence, which is a palindrome, and will cut it at a specific point. It will cut it, that is between two nucleotide bases. It will cut it at the sugar phosphate bond. It will cut it at the sugar phosphate backbone, okay, between two nucleotides. So at a particular point it will cut. Now for example, let us take, and it should be usually, it will recognize usually a 6 base pairs. Take a Hind2 restriction endonuclease, or take E. coli restriction endonuclease. Both 6 base pairs, they will identify a sequence of 6 base pairs in the new DNA sequence, and they will cut. So let us see an example of the E. coli, how it is cutting. Okay, now if you take this E. coli, that particular restriction enzyme, it will identify in the vector DNA. Now this is the double stranded DNA. Okay, it's a double stranded. In this strand, if you see 5-3- direction, you can see the nucleotides as arranged as GAATTC in this direction. Now in this direction also, if you see this strand, you see it is GAATTC. Okay, now this I have drawn to show that it is bonding, hydrogen bond with the G will be with the C and A with the T, that I am showing. So this strand, you see this sequence GAATC, and this side also it is GAATC. So such a palindrome, such things it will identify, the restriction endonuclease. In this case, this is E. coli restriction endonuclease. It has identified, and it will cut it at a particular point, that is between, in this case it is between G and A. So this strand it is cutting between G and A. This strand it is cutting again between G and A. Okay, at that particular palindrome. It's an endonuclease inside the strand, not at the ends. It is cutting the DNA within, inside. So it is actually here also I haven't drawn, but this particular palindrome it has identified and it is cutting at a particular point. Okay. Similarly, even the source DNA should be cut with the same restriction enzyme. So this is the source DNA I have drawn, which is being cut at the same way. See, GAATTC, GAATTC, between G and A and between G and A. So what happens if the molecular scissors are cutting it here? So this segment will go off. Similarly, this segment will go off. So what will be left out will be in this G, and this will be left. In this will be left and this will be left, so that we see like this. So what is left? See, this is going off, this get cuts and this segment disappears. The segment disappears. Here this cut and this segment disappears. This segment disappears. Only remaining is G. What is remaining is only the possibility of these hydrogen bonds. Okay, they can be there. That's why called sticky ends. Okay, because they form hydrogen bonds with their supplementary cut counterparts, and because of this stickiness of the ends only is facilitating the DNA ligase action, so that next these two will join. Okay, these two will join and form recombinant DNA. Let me show it in the book. See, got cut. Okay, and now it's got joined recombinant DNA. Okay. So one more thing what I want to show is, that time we had shown, no, in Salmonella typhi, that cell, it had a chromosomal DNA, and the plasmid also had you were using the native plasmid, no, the first recombinant DNA which they created, those two scientists. So they used restriction enzyme, the same restriction enzyme, to cut the chromosomal DNA as well as the plasmid DNA. See, plasmid DNA also with the same restriction enzyme, it has to be cut. Then only they'll identify the palindrome and cut correctly there, so that there will be sticky ends between this, and it can get stuck and gets a recombinant DNA. So this is all about